Welcome to What's in the Box, episodes of horror with Donna and Eric. I'm Donna,
Now, I'm Eric.
and joining us for another installment of Texas AuthorCon Author Spotlights, we have Megan Stockton. Hi, Megan.
Hello.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me.
thank you for joining us. You'll be at Texas AuthorCon in July in the Dallas area, so everybody can come and check you out, get your books, and see what you have to offer. So we have a couple fun questions to start with. Um, Jason, Michael, or Freddie? Who's your favorite?
Oh no, honestly, probably Jason.
There you go. Okay. We will continue with this interview since you've given the right answer. So,
Yeah. Yeah, we have I'm a team Freddie.
yeah,
Uh,
most people say Freddie, and I totally understand why they do. He's got lines. He's charismatic, he's funny, and all
yeah,
that stuff. But
Yeah.
I just love the Friday the 13th movies, and I don't know if it's, and I think Jason has a little more something, that Michael doesn't have. Yeah.
yeah,
And I think Rob Zombie tried to give Michael more when he did his version of it, but now it's everything feels so disjointed. It's hard to sit back. I need to sit down and watch all the Halloweens again, but I grew up on Jason, so in my
oh yeah.
mind, he is the best.
And honestly, as far as like modern takes on it, that movie back in the early 2000s, it was pretty good.
Yeah, I
The
think it
Friday the
is the
13th movie.
best.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was good.
Mm.
for sure. And I think that's the thing that I haven't seen the remake of Nightmare yet, but I think that's the problem is that you can't see anybody else as Freddy. So
Yeah,
you really can't do another movie because there's just no desire to see anybody else play it. And
yeah,
you definitely, from what I understand, they played it very straight, and he's not sarcastic or funny or anything. It's more supposed to
yeah.
be
It lacks a lot a lot of humor, and
right.
I really like that actor. I think it was Jackie Earl Haley,
Hmm.
if I'm not mistaken. I love him, but
Yeah.
it just I
It's
don't
just
know.
the
It
idea.
was okay.
Freddie is a certain thing, and you
Yeah.
can't really change it. The great thing about Jason is that there's a little room, but I mean,
Mhm.
everybody plays it the right way. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, vampires or werewolves?
Usually werewolf.
Okay. Team Werewolf's got another player.
yes.
Are you more into the bipedal werewolves or are you more the wolf-like werewolves?
Uh, More of the wolf-like werewolves. I have no issue with them getting bipedal, but I'm actually not a fan of like the Wolfman type. You know,
All right.
very humanoid. I'm not really into that.
Okay. Most people say bipedal. It's quite
Yeah.
interesting.
I know I'm trying to process this. I guess it's okay. I mean, I don't know. So no, I
Mm,
totally get it because it's really cool when you get that giant wolf thing.
Mhm.
And I know a lot of people like to bag on Twilight as the death of both vampires and werewolves, but I like the werewolf size that I think they got that right when they did those.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um,
They were mostly just big wolves, though. I think just
yeah.
in general, just But yeah. It had its appeal, I guess.
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure. But I think they handled the werewolf aspect right. And then
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I'm a big fan. I like the original Wolfman and all that kind of stuff. It gives it a little more, I guess, the haunting aspect of the character because usually when they are the ones that turn into a wolf man, they're not doing it because they want to be a werewolf, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Usually when
Yeah.
you have them when they turn into full wolves, it's something that
It's
they
fun.
embrace.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
part of their life. So you don't have that aspect of the human being,
Yeah.
haunted by the curse of the werewolf. So
Right.
yeah, I
Yeah.
totally get it. Yeah. So if we were going to say what's your go-to werewolf movie?
Oh gosh, now that would be difficult. This I don't know. This isn't really a werewolf movie, but this is my favorite werewolf movie, probably. Don't judge me. But I guess it. Okay, The Wolf of Snow Hollow. I'm a big fan.
Okay,
Have you seen it?
I
I
have
have
not. It's
not.
on my queue, so
Okay, well,
we won't be able to. We can't judge you properly, but we will go
yeah,
watch it
judge
and
me
then we'll do an
afterwards as
episode.
far as it being my favorite like werewolf movie. But as just overall, my favorite like werewolf though is probably like American Werewolf in London.
Sure.
I mean, I feel like that the transformation and everything was really good. I really liked the werewolves in Hemlock Grove. Did you guys watch
Yeah,
that show?
I did.
The
Yeah.
That was really cool. I thought that was kind of a different, take on it. But overall, I guess American Werewolf in London, and then um, The Wolf of Snow Hollow as far as just an overall movie.
Yeah, I bought it when it came out before and then they put it on Prime, and I still never watched it, but it definitely seemed interesting. It was one of those movies that I thought, oh, this will be a fun watch.
Yeah,
So
it was an
you're the
excellent
second
movie.
person I've heard recently say something about that movie, so I will definitely have to push it up. Problem
yeah.
is my wife doesn't watch horror.
No.
So and my kid doesn't like movies. So I'm like, it's just me. So if I have time to do anything, I'm usually writing or reading. So
This
I have
is
to
like
make it.
real offbeat humor. I don't know if she's into that kind of thing. Like it's just real, almost awkward humor, you know. It's a whole lot of fun in general.
Okay. Well, I will definitely check it out and see.
So do you have a favorite horror movie or just scary movie from when you were a kid?
From when I was a kid, me and my sister used to rent Ticks a lot. I don't know if you've seen Ticks.
Yeah,
Uh,
that is a deep cut. We have had deep cuts tonight. We've had two
Yeah.
interviews, and they have had deep cuts. So that's awesome.
So Ticks and Dead Alive were like our go-tos for like rentals, you know,
Mhm.
like that was their thing. My favorite horror movie now is Martyrs. I like it a lot, the French version. So.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen Martyrs yet. There's a lot out there that I haven't seen yet. I'm getting my way there.
Slowly building a list through these interviews as we get
Yeah,
everybody's favorites and stuff. So we'll
yeah.
give everything a shot. So so you said it was a French version. So I guess there's an American. 'Cause when you said Martyrs, I immediately thought of a movie poster, but it was an American thing. So you're saying
Yeah,
that there's a
the original was French, and it's just an excellent movie. They did an American remake. I didn't watch the entire thing, but I guess and normally I can separate like a remake and the original, and I can enjoy them both. I just wasn't ready, I guess, when I tried it out, and I haven't tried it again. I haven't heard real good things, but I really do need to give it another shot, I guess. But
I'll be honest with you, almost every time we do see a foreign language movie remade, they dumb it down to the point where it's not worth watching. I think.
somebody said they go ahead.
Oh no, you go.
Well, I was just going to say somebody said they changed the ending, and that's like a very impactful portion.
Right.
They said they gave it a little silver lining, and I don't know how they would have done that, but I think that would have like almost defeated the purpose of the film.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. I think let the right one in is the only one where I think they almost did a better job with the English language one. So.
It was very good.
Yeah. Let's say switching from movies to books. If somebody came to you and said, "Hey, I want to be, I want to get into horror," what's a novel that you might hand them and say this is a good place to start?
For like thinking of it literally for the general population, I would probably hand them like Joe Hill, Heart-Shaped Box or something, because that's pretty, friendly for the general public or whatever. And then recently, my sister wanted to get into indie horror. She's not really been into it much at all, and I actually gave her Carver Pike's Faces of Beth.
Oh wow.
But yeah, just for her and knowing her taste, I feel like that was a good one for her to get in on that would draw her in. Then I could start her handing her some other stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah.
Anything Carver does is gold in my mind.
Oh, yes. I've not read a bad one from him yet. I told somebody that the other day. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, I've even been reading his erotica that he's written.
I haven't yet, but I've thought about it.
Yeah, they're really good. The one that I like, I won't say the most, but the one that was most fun was his Shark Shifter romance book.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's got two. I just haven't read the second one yet.
Didn't think you'd hear that tonight, did you? If somebody's playing bingo with that as a thing, they're like, "Oh, this is great."
Yeah. If I find out an author writes in different genres, I always have to check out those other genres as well, because I read pretty much anything. But if Eric said, "Oh yeah, I wrote a children's book," I'd be right out there grabbing that children's book.
Yeah. That'd probably be the end of me. So I'm probably not gonna get into too many kids' books with.
And do you have a favorite horror novel? Like, if you could think,
Gosh, let's see. Well, Heart-Shaped Box is up there because I love that novel. Joe Hill's other stuff's a little hit or miss for me, but I think that overall I like him as a writer better than Stephen King.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I mean,
Sometimes, sometimes I start thinking, I wonder how much of the new stuff is Joe Hill. You know what I mean?
I mean,
I wonder-
honestly, because I've read some of his new stuff, but I'm like, man, this is excellent. And then some of it, I can tell he's mentally aging, I suppose.
Mhm.
And there's a huge rift between those things. So I don't know. And I also I really like John Dies at the End is like a comfort read for me. I've read it multiple times, and Hold the Dark. And then I love Cormac McCarthy, if you consider it horror.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
think
I
The
like
Road
The Road.
is. Yeah, The Road.
I like The Road a lot. I like No Country for Old Men as well, but it's not really horror. But
Yeah.
those are some off the top of my head, some of my favorites.
Yeah, I haven't read John Dies at the End, but I have seen the movie, which I'm sure is completely wrong, for people that do enjoy the book. But
the movie's fun, but the book is just, from the moment you start it, it's just like a happy place for me. Like it's so much fun.
that's cool.
I highly recommend it.
You don't get a lot of Bizarro, so that's always cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, and I think The Road definitely is horror. I would argue, I'll take that to the death. I'll argue that to the death. So.
Yeah, I think dystopian, by definition, is horror, or should be horror in general. I know a lot of people don't necessarily think that way, but I think it has to be.
Yeah. 100%.
Yep. So do you listen to anything in particular when you write?
I actually make a playlist for everything. Like every project has its own playlist. And it honestly depends on, I put just about every genre in there, and it's not always like the lyrics. Sometimes it's just the vibe, the musical vibe. I really like alternative and like early 2000s, like metal and rock. So I listen to a lot of that. But then some kind of like bluesy stuff creeps its way in there with certain projects. So just kind of depends on the project.
All right, that's good. We have
Do you
another
release those playlists?
I don't, but I saw, who did that recently? Was it Carver with Kin of the Fallen? He had like a little
Yeah, I think he had a Spotify thing.
Yeah, I thought about doing that for like my newsletter subscribers or something recently, because I have them all on there. That could be a fun thing for somebody to do while they're reading, put it on in the background.
Yeah, for sure. Kind of tie in the vibe that you were doing when you were writing the thing. So yeah, for sure. That'd be very cool.
Yeah, I don't know if it would be good for someone like me, that when I'm reading, I kind of tune everything out, so I wouldn't be able to focus on the music and correlate it to the story. But I think some people would love that. And I have seen a bunch of people posting that they have playlists. And I even saw, I forget what book it was, and I think it was just a recent read. They had a list in the actual back of the book of the playlists of what they that they made up for that book. I forget what it was. But I thought that was really interesting because I always read past the epilogue, or if there is one, because I like to read like author notes if they're in there, and I just go through the pages. And I saw a playlist on one of the books that I recently read, which I thought that was pretty neat.
Since you already have, I was gonna say, since you've got this whole thing set up, you've got a playlist set up. So I find that fascinating. So do you have do you outline the entire book before you sit down to write, so you know what you need for this playlist, or are you just like, okay, my general idea is this, so I know these kind of songs will fit?
Yeah, I don't outline at all. Like, that stresses me out like really bad. So I'll usually, I usually have a general idea. Sometimes I just have a theme, that starts the entire thing, and I might start with a song or two or three, and I'll listen to those and then turn on like the seed thing where it'll give you other songs that sound like those songs, and sometimes I end up removing a song because it ends up not being right, and so then sometimes it evolves and I end up adding more songs to it. So it kind of, it grows as the story grows, because I usually don't know where I'm going, and sometimes I surprise myself with where I end up, compared to where I started. So
okay, cool. So it's not really, so it's kind of organic as the story is organic too. Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice that it goes that way. Now, you write horror, do you have a subgenre? Because I honestly have not read anything by you yet, and I know I've heard Blue Jay is pretty extreme, I guess, from what I've heard.
Yeah, Blue Jay's extreme. Ethic is dystopian. That was my debut. Yeah, and Nobody Knows It But Me is very quiet horror, sulky kind of horror,
Yeah,
werewolf.
it's definitely a slow burn.
Yeah, very, very slow burn, especially compared to what I normally write. It's very, very fast paced, especially like Blue Jay is very fast paced, and Quite Pretty Things is like a crime thriller. And even though it's kind of lengthy a little bit, it's still very quick. It's very, you start in the middle and you're, the whole time you're there, it's breakneck, until you get to the end. And then the other that I wrote with Joshua McMillan is a like 90s slasher origin story. So I kind of dabble in all the things.
Yeah, and I kind of got that vibe when you were telling us your favorite books, because those were
Yeah.
all just all over the place, which is perfect. I think people that do that usually have, interesting stories to read. So
Yeah. Do you have a favorite one so far? Because I heard you say you got crime thriller, quiet horror, folk horror, a little bit extreme. Do you have a slasher? So was one of them any better for you or more fun for you to read or write rather?
Not really. I really like to write extreme horror. And especially like some of the shorts that I like have sent into anthologies and stuff, you'll notice that some of those are a little more extreme. But I just didn't think I could market myself as an extreme horror author. So that's why I, took a chance with DNT for Blue Jay, or they took a chance with me. And so I feel like that worked out well for me. And so I have another couple of extreme horror stories I want to tell now that I know that people will buy it. Basically. So I like extreme horror. I love bizarro, dark humor. I like to incorporate those things in the stories I tell. But as far as just one subgenre, if I had to stick myself in one, I don't know if I could do it.
yeah, I'm the same way. I hate using the term extreme horror. I just do that so people know that there's cursing and sex and violence,
Right. Exactly.
So
Yeah.
it's just like slapping an R on there. But I like to say I write horror, and I get
Yeah.
that's the vibe I'm getting from you.
Yeah.
And I mean, Nobody Knows It But Me doesn't have anything at all in it that I would consider, too extreme. There's a couple, death scenes, things of that nature, but I would say you just write horror, and sometimes
Yeah.
it gets a little bloodier, and sometimes
Yeah.
a little more obscene, I guess, which is I think what we mean when we say we write extreme.
Exactly. Yeah. And I always just tell people like my banner and like my website and everything, it just says horror infused fiction. That way you just know that everything's going to have horror elements. Some of it fits more neatly into that box than others, and some of it is messier than others,
Yeah, for sure. That's how I like to say it. I like to say everything is horror. So it doesn't
Yeah.
matter what I'm writing, it's going to have horror elements
Mhm.
to it no
Yeah.
matter what. And
Yeah.
that's just because that's how I see everything as I'm doing it. So
Yeah, exactly.
that's why I would probably not do the children's thing. So,
Oh, come on. You wanna.
oh yeah, yeah. Well, I'll start thinking about it tonight. I know it'll be back there. So
You can do children's horror.
yeah, I probably could. I've got tons of it. I mean, I grew up on it. So,
Yeah, see? So
of
tell
course, when
us.
I was a kid, I was reading Stephen King,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a problem, is that a lot of us kind of jumped ahead and we were reading adult horror when we shouldn't have really been doing anything like that. So
Exactly.
that's the problem.
And watching inappropriate horror movies that,
Yeah.
for
Oh,
our
yeah.
age. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really a common theme we've noticed with people in the horror genre,
Yeah.
We're the lucky ones.
Yep,
So at least that's how I
exactly.
look at it. So
Yep, exactly. So tell us about what your newest project is that just came out, and anything that you may have coming out in the future that possibly would be available at Texas AuthorCon.
I don't know that I'm going to have anything new available by Texas AuthorCon. I'm trying really hard, but I don't think I'm going to make it. But I have a short in the anthology they did, of course. The body
head
horror.
blowns.
Yeah. So I've got a short in it. And then I have a story in Dead Hookers in Gas Station Bathrooms by Sinister Smile Press, but I'm not sure if it's going to be ready or not by then.
Yeah, I don't know.
if it is, I'll hopefully snag a couple of copies to bring
Me
with
too,
me.
because I have a
Yeah.
story in that as well.
Yeah, that's so much fun. I was like, please let me get into this. Like, I
Yeah.
need this.
So that actually, I'm not bragging, but that actually came about because I saw a meme that Stephen Pajak shared. And I said, that needs to be an anthology. That needs to be a title. And then Bob Sargent came to me and he's like, what do you think the theme should be? And I'm like, it needs to be road trip horror.
Well, it is perfect. I saw it and I was like, I
Yeah.
need this. This is
Yeah.
what I
I
need.
just think I can't wait to read all the other stories in it. I'm so excited.
Yeah,
about
I
it.
don't know
put
if I'll have
together.
any like full length books like new books available. I'll have everything I had the beginning of the year. I think my most recent release was my collaboration with Joshua. And I'll have copies of it that are dual signed. We both signed on the page, so I should still have some of those available by then.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it's always great to be able to get, especially if the guy isn't there, the contributor.
Yeah.
So very
Nice.
cool.
Yeah, and so, in the description of this interview video, we'll have like links to your stuff. Do you have a website that people can find you on? And obviously you're probably available on Amazon, I would assume.
Yeah, you can. My website is meganstocktonbooks.com. All of my books are available on Amazon, or you can message me on any social media and I'll send you signed copies. Or if you don't want to talk to me, I have an Etsy where you can buy signed copies. So however people want to do it.
That's great. Now, are you from Texas?
Oh, no, I'm from Tennessee.
Oh, Tennessee. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't think she was from Texas, but then I'm like, maybe she is. I didn't remember where you were from. So that's
Yeah.
exciting. Yeah, it's going to be,
Yeah, there's a lot of people from Tennessee coming to the event. So I think it's really cool.
Yeah, isn't that where Chase Will is from? He's from Tennessee as well, right?
I don't know.
I don't
He
know.
might be. I know Kristen.
Kristen Vincent.
Princeton.
Yeah, and she's helped me out. She's gonna take some of my boxes down with me because my sister is gonna go with me, and her and I are gonna fly. And so I was thinking, like, how am I gonna pack all these books in suitcases? And so she's actually gonna drive them down for me because she's driving down with a friend or her aunt or something. And I was like, oh, so it was really nice of her to offer.
Yeah, that's great. Very cool.
Yeah. So are you excited about Texas? You didn't go last year. You weren't at Texas AuthorCon last year.
No, I wasn't there last year. No, I'm super, super excited. It seems like it's going to be a great event. And I like visiting Texas. I haven't been in several years, so it'd be nice to be back.
It's going to be hot. I've been saying, like, I'm not looking forward to that.
Fun. It'll be fun. We have AC.
It's going to be hot.
Yeah. You'll get used to it, maybe.
I
at least have AC. So
yeah. I'll be in the hotel the whole time.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. And it's a nice hotel. And I think that's the cool thing about this year is, like I say, that we have all these different, genres too, but we're getting authors from all over the area to come. The East Coast and Tennessee and Oklahoma, we're going to have a lot of people from
West Virginia.
Yeah, West Virginia is going to be represented. So it's really cool. Like we like to say, Texas AuthorCon is the location or the attitude, whatever you want it to be, that's what it is. And we're going to have a ton of cool writers and people there to hang out with and talk to. Are you doing a panel or a reading?
No, I am not. I have stage fright, so I don't usually sign up for those things.
Yes, I'm 100% with you. So
yeah, me too.
I signed up for a panel and I survived at Scares, so I was pretty happy with that. So, but yeah, I couldn't imagine doing a reading. So
yeah,
we did a reading at Scares, but there were like 4 people in there, so it was fun.
Yeah, I was told somebody went to do a reading, and unfortunately nobody showed up because of the scheduling and stuff. And I was like, that would have been the perfect reading for me if I could have just to an empty room. I'd actually asked the other guy to leave, whoever was up there sharing the time slot. Could you step outside so I could do this real quick? And then you come back in. So yeah, I totally get that. So it's a cool thing though, because from what I understand, they're going to have the room for the panels and the readings, kind of a mini room inside the big room. So everybody will be able to get to those things and not be too far from their table in case they need to get back. So, This will be a fun event. I think Meryl's done a really good job. So
I think so
Yeah.
too so far. Seems like it.
Yeah, it'll be definitely interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody again, like Candace and Roland and yourselves, and meeting Chris Miller and Mike Enenbach, seeing him again.
Mhm.
yeah, PC3, and Ruth will be up from
Oh yeah,
down
Ruth Ann will be
south.
there.
And yeah, there's a lot of great writers and people going to be at this event. So it's definitely, people need to come out and hang out and check out some new writers and maybe buy stuff from people that they love. And there'll be some merch there. And there's a t-shirt guy that he makes these amazing t-shirts from old, like, deep cut movies and stuff. They're really cool. So
Oh, awesome.
there'll be a lot of cool stuff. And there'll be a guy selling old paperbacks too. So I always love those tables. I love to dig through old paperbacks,
Me
and
too.
especially the cool thing with paperbacks from hell is that now everybody knows about it, but the bad thing is that everybody knows about it. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
but this guy will have paperbacks from that and just deep cuts and things like that. So there'll be something for everybody. And I talked to a guy, Enigma, last night, and there's going to be tons of different genres and people
Awesome.
represented. So I think that's fun too. It's cool to see a event pop up that is book centered,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we need more of those, because I was saying I had gone to a Comic-Con before AuthorCon, and there was 2 authors there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, because that's what I look for, because I'm not into comics. I'm not into Funko Pops or whatever they're called, or Legos or whatever. And I'm not spending $85 on a, Grogu backpack purse thing. I mean, as cute as it was, I'm like, eh. So I was looking for
is that Baby
authors.
Yoda? Is that what that
Yeah,
is? Okay,
yeah.
sorry. I
So
speak nerd, but I don't know if I'm as fluent with the newer stuff. So
So yeah, I found the 2 authors, and then I went to Monster Expo in October, and I wasn't expecting a lot of authors to be there, because it was like your typical horror celebrity, movie celebrities, and stuff like that. But Dan and Aaron were there, and I found a whole bunch of other authors that were there. So of course I came out of that with a ton of books.
Mhm.
yeah, those are
Yeah.
always cool when you find stuff that you're not expecting. So
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like the people, like the authors that were at the Comic-Con, I'm sure their tables didn't really get a lot of traffic,
Yeah.
and if they did, it was just like, oh, books. Oh, let's move on and go buy some, Hello Kitty stuff,
Yeah.
you know. So, all right. Well, Megan, it's been great having you on. Like I said, we will have links to your website and your Amazon page down in the description, so people can check out your work and make a list of what they want to buy from you at Texas AuthorCon. We really enjoyed your chat, so thank you so much.
Well, thank you guys. Appreciate
yeah,
it.
thanks for coming on.